6 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m. It's Wednesday, March 4th, 2020, 40 degrees outside. Shane Mataubin, half man, half amazing on the line. Tom Eagle up your morning mayor. And we're brought to you by the Club Tavern and Grill there in the Best Western Grand Tree on North 7th across from Walmart. And it's where the locals go. So tell them Tom and Shane sent you in. And I want to give a shout out to Anita. We are listening to you from sunny Florida. We can't start our day without the Tom and Shane program. No snow and ice here. So good for you, Anita. We're happy. We're happy we can reach you by laptop or smartphone or whatever, however you're listening to us down there. We appreciate that very much. Have a safe and happy trip and enjoy the warm weather down there in Florida. But we're pretty warm here. We're in the 40s, so that's not so bad. But, well, Super Tuesday, Jurassic Joe is not dead yet.
I'm shocked. Absolutely. I'm a pundit or an observer or someone who looks at this and goes, I just can't believe it. Because Biden is not an opponent for Trump. He's an opponent to Bernie.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like a double election now. You know?
Well, I was going to ask you, was this a vote against Bernie more than a vote for Biden?
Yes.
I think so too. I think if that's my two alternatives, I mean, and Elizabeth Warren finished third in her own state. I mean, come on, you can't.
I know
she's done. I would think after this.
Well, they need 1991 plus one, 1992 delegates.
Yeah.
Biden's now the leader with 461. Bernie at 404. Bloomberg 46. Can you imagine almost $700 million to get 46 delegates?
I know that's a lot of money. And coming up on
Elizabeth has 34. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth has 434.
Yeah. So coming up on the 10th, a week from yesterday, Idaho has 20, Michigan 125, Mississippi 36, Missouri 68, North Dakota 14. And Washington 89, and those will all be given away next Tuesday.
And another block, 365.
Yeah.
And then the following week, 577, Arizona, Florida, Illinois, Ohio.
Yeah, Florida's in there. Illinois is in there. Florida's 219, Illinois 115, Ohio's 136, Georgia's 105, and Puerto Rico's 51.
And then
that'll finish out March.
Yeah, and then in April, the 4th and the 7th at 107 and 84 respectively. But April 28th, 663, and that's his own state of Delaware.
Yep.
And New York, Pennsylvania, which he claims.
Yeah, Connecticut too is in there.
Yeah, so all the Northeast states.
Yeah.
So he should clean up there, not Bernie.
I would think so. Yeah, I don't think. Well, you'd think Bernie would have a lot of following in that blue area, but I think the socialism is just scaring people to death, man. I think they're just fearful of that.
Plus, I don't think people, they went through that 2-day period where they said they hadn't vetted Bernie, and they found all those videos of him. And then they found him talking about women like Beto O'Rourke, like wanting to abuse them and then wanting to be raped and like on tape.
The guy's been around for 30 some years. You're telling me now you didn't look up this stuff when he was running against Hillary?
No.
I mean, come on.
It's incredible.
No wonder nobody trusts the news media.
Oh, kind of.
I mean, they can't find their rear end with both hands.
That's right. And what's remarkable is that Biden comes into this so scarred.
Oh,
because, the whole thing that interfered with this was the impeachment thing. And it was the Democrats that brought up the whole thing about Ukraine and the Bidens. Not the president's people didn't bring it up, but the Democrats brought it up.
Yeah. Well, that still may raise its ugly head before November again, depending on what what's his name in June finds out, the prosecutor.
Well, yeah, I think, but in next week in that case, his son's involved with the child care issue. he has to go in next week, I think it is, and sit down with the judge and go through all of his finances and explain where he has all of his money, got all of his money.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is, and then you see that the judge has ordered Hillary, to be cross-examined again.
Yeah, the Benghazi thing's coming back to
No,
rear
no,
its
not
ugly
Benghazi.
head.
No,
Well,
no.
that's what they said in the news. That's what the
No,
news is
it
reporting.
has nothing to do with Benghazi. It's all about the emails.
Well, yeah, but it's...
No, it has nothing to do with Benghazi. He doesn't want to talk anything about Benghazi. He just wants to have her and her assistant, her personal assistant, the ones that got the exemption from the DOJ. So now they got to sit in his court and be questioned and examined about the 30,000 emails in their secret server.
And Benghazi. I've read it a dozen places. They're going to talk to her about Benghazi too. Trust me.
False news. I'm telling you.
Is that fake
news? I'll look up the judge's name and what his order says.
Okay. Yeah.
His order is very specific.
Yeah. Well.
Anyway, so what a shocker. I mean, literally 5 days ago, he was finished.
Yeah.
He had no money. He had no delegates. He hadn't won anything. Third time running for president. He, basically claimed to fame, vice president under Obama for 8 years. And along came South Carolina, and a very powerful black guy in the U.S. Congress stands up for him and shakes his hand on stage, and kabam! Yep. It's like the skies opened, the sun came out, and all of a sudden, he's our very leader.
30-point win. Yeah, it's well, as I say, I think it's no surprise California went for Bernie. That's no surprise at all. That's socialist central, so no question there.
And Michael Bloomberg too is a numbers guy. He's totally analytical.
Yeah,
and he has no path even in a brokered convention, and it still probably will be based upon unless Bernie completely collapses. That's possible. Yeah. But I with the machine that Bloomberg has, he's got one of two decisions. Do I create a third party just to kill Trump to try and take, Oklahoma and a few other states, or do I turn it over and back Biden, right? Step up and back up Biden and carry him through because he's $170 million on staffing, Tom. 2,200 people.
Yeah.
Over 200 offices across. I mean.
Yeah, wow. Guy spent a bundle. Yeah, it wasn't just the money he spent on advertising and everything.
625 on advertising, 175 on setting it all up. Yeah,
well, he gave everybody a laptop. He gave them apartments to live in.
70 grand to start.
Yeah, 70 grand salaries. Come on, man.
Cars.
We're in the wrong business, Shane. We got to get in this politics deal.
All we have to do is be right.
Well,
we are right.
Well, that's true a lot of the time, except for yesterday.
Yeah, except for Bernie.
Yeah.
Biden. I mean, I don't know. I don't. It'll be interesting, but I thought
Biden might take some of the states on the east, but I didn't think about Oklahoma or places like that. That.
Well, it's
and
not
Texas particularly. I thought Bernie would take Texas.
Well,
but
what killed Bernie was it's a proportional win, right?
Yeah.
And because of that, Biden got, a lot of delegates because he was, he was up in the 30, 40 range.
Yeah.
But the number of states that Bloomberg and Warren didn't even get to the 15% threshold, so they don't get nothing.
They don't get anything. Yeah. Yeah. You had to get to 50. You had to get at least 15% of the vote to get any delegates or get anybody. Yeah. So they went through a lot of states, spent a lot of money for nothing. They got Zippo.
Yeah, and our heartthrob didn't. She got one delegate.
Yeah.
Guess from where? Samoa.
Yeah. Well, maybe she'll win Hawaii. Who knows? That's coming up. That's coming up if she's. So, what are we going to have? We got to have just two people on the March 15th is the next debate. That's the right. CNN Univision, so that'll be all over immigration and everything, I would guess.
Well, yeah, and neither of them speak Spanish.
Well, oh my God. There's no way. There's no way this is going to work. Well, Biden will need an interpreter for whatever he says. So,
It's very profound.
Mhm.
And you look at the polls and you check the polls and everything, and you shake your head because I mean,
It's
I just, I
what?
mean, I could be totally.
Yeah.
I just see Trump taking 35 to 37 states. I
Well,
really do.
I think the polls have, well, with 2016, I think the polls have pretty well just been kicked to the curb. I don't know that anybody, I don't know that anybody even talks about them anymore. You
Yeah,
know.
but that big water truck comes by every 4 years, washes them off, and they get out of the curb and come back
Well, I
again.
guess they do. I don't know. You got to have something, I guess. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you, with the polling and everything, with social media and cell phones and everything else, um, you just can't reach the electorate like you used to with a simple phone call or whatever.
Well, that's true. And the other thing is if you dig down on the numbers, but because you got to go here and thank our farmers
Yes, I
and
do. Yeah, I got to thank
but
them.
real quick, you
Mhm.
got to dig down on these numbers to look at where they stood in 2008 by county
Mhm.
and the number of people that showed up,
Sure.
and of course in 2016 when Trump won, and not they didn't show up in the same numbers the Democrats.
No, they didn't.
That's
Yeah. Well, they thought Hillary was a shoe-in, so why go vote? I mean, they figured Trump was.
but yesterday they
Yeah.
didn't. There were some states that had better turnout, but the
Hmm.
turnout on the Democratic side was not that great
Yeah.
yesterday.
Well, the coronavirus may have had something to do with that. Some people think, the primary is not that important, as important as a general election. But there's a lot of reasons people don't go. Weather, who knows? They open the polls longer in Tennessee for the tornado victims to vote till midnight, I
I
think.
know. Well, how
Yeah,
sad was
what a
that?
sad deal that is for those folks. But well, anyway, let's talk to our farmers, ranchers, and I didn't get a chance to hear the Montana news. If it was a repeat, so we got our fingers crossed that maybe, just maybe, the Montana news and ag might not be a repeat today. So
There you go.
fingers crossed. Here we go. Here's your Montana news in ag. 20 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m. It's Wednesday, March 4th, 2020, 40 degrees. Here's Shane Montalban with your farm ag report.
Good morning, everyone. The soybean market is looking pretty strong because of China. 896.50 up 525. Wheat 524.50 down 475. Cheese is hanging even at 178. And milk is 16.39. Oats 254.50 up 50 cents. Canola 461.60 up 280. Cotton remains the same at 62.90, and coffee is marginal but down $2.80 at 118. When we look at orange juice, 104 down 90 cents. Lumber 404.10, 11.50 it dropped. Not a good sign. And corn, the king corn, 380.75 up 75 cents. Beef 15.70, $1.40 up. Poultry 491 up or unchanged. Feeder cattle 133.52 up 20 cents. Lean hogs 77.60 up 66 cents. And live cattle at 103.87 down 65 cents. Your morning market. We love you guys.
That's right. All right. Thanks, Shane, for filling in there. let's hope that was adequate for our farmers and ranchers and truck drivers and cab drivers and everybody out there. So we appreciate that. Let's take a look at our Gallup Valley weather. And hey, don't forget you can get your weather anytime you want it on the AM 1450 KMMS app. Yeah, it's right there. You just hit weather. Boom. It's there. I don't even think you have to hit weather. I think it's just there on the app. It's right there on your screen. Say, hey, look, there's the weather. It's great. Download it today. AM 1450 KMMS app. Today, it is going to be partly sunny with a high near 47. We're going to get some wind this afternoon, up to 30 miles an hour. Wind gust could go to 40 or so. So it's going to be warm and windy out there. Tonight, partly cloudy, low around 24. Winds up into the 20s again. Thursday, it's going to be mostly sunny, high near 53, and the winds are going to diminish down to normal size. And then on Thursday, partly cloudy with a low around 35 degrees and no appreciable wind there. Friday, mostly sunny with a high near 59. And then on Friday night, mostly cloudy, low around 37. And on Saturday, a 20% chance of rain after 11 a.m. It's going to be mostly cloudy with a high near 55. And there might be some 20-mile-an-hour wind gusts here and there. Then on Saturday night, chance of rain before 11 p.m., then a chance of rain and snow between 11 and 2 a.m., then snow after that, and cloudy with a low around 29. And then on Sunday, snow likely before 11 a.m., then rain likely. It's going to temperatures go down a little bit. It'll be mostly cloudy, high near 41. Then on Sunday night, chance of rain and snow before 8 p.m., then a chance of snow after that, mostly cloudy with a low around 25. And Monday, for your commute back to work, a chance of rain and snow, partly sunny, high near 43, no accumulation listed. And then on Monday night, slight chance of rain and snow, mostly cloudy, low around 25. And then on Tuesday, mostly sunny with a high near 45. So it looks like a pretty good week there, Shane. We're getting some warm temps in there.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Livingston right now is at 45 degrees. Manhattan is 42. Three Forks is 42. Galton Gateway is 31 degrees. Big Sky is 28. West Yellowstone is right at 30 degrees. Gardner's 33. Ennis is 38. And at the airport in Belgrade, 43 degrees right now. We're right at 40 degrees here in our lavishly appointed downtown studios, where it's just a godsend to be here. Isn't that right? At 6 in the morning?
Yeah.
We love it here. Road conditions around the state, everything looks pretty green. Homestake Pass looks green. Bozeman Hills green. Looks like it's green all the way up from Three Forks up to Helena. If you're going up to Townsend, from Livingston up that direction up to White Sulphur Springs, that looks pretty good. Going down 191's a little icy and snow covered down there. Ennis down to west looks pretty green. And, the only thing we see around the area here are winds. There's going to be a lot of high winds, particularly on your way over to Billings. No surprise there as you go from Livingston to Big Timber. And over to Columbus and into Billings, you're going to see some high winds there. If you go down to Red Lodge, winds over there. Not any wind, appreciable wind going up to Helena or up to Townsend or White Sulphur Springs or Great Falls or up that way. But west of Great Falls, there's a lot of wind over in that direction. If you're going over toward Rogers Pass or over in that area. Lewistown, a lot of wind around that. So be careful out there. If you're going north out of Billings, going to be a lot of wind along the way there too. So, and south out of Billings as well. So that's pretty much the weather for today. And our poll question from yesterday, should Bozeman City Parks names be for sale? And 56% said no, parks should be named for those who made a difference. And 18% said, yes, the city needs more money. And 5% were 4% were undecided. And 4% thought a park should be named after them. So, and let's see, other answers. Bozeman should get rid of most of the parks that can't afford to maintain them. You're right there. Do not change any of them. The city gives exactly one big crap about the blue-collar workers here. No, this would just be Bozeman getting greedy. A communist vote. Yes, sell names and lower taxes. Now, there you go. If you could sell the names and lower my taxes, that'd be all right. I'd go for that. How many taxes would it take to replace that latte or that pizza that I'm gonna do on that park fund that's coming up on the ballot? No, this isn't a sponsorship opportunity like naming a professional sports arena. Sure, if you get the name, if you get to name it and then you get all the bills to maintain it. Yeah, if you put your name on it, you got to pay for it. So anyway, we had a lot of interesting answers to that particular one. Our poll question today, has the coronavirus changed your lifestyle? Has it changed your lifestyle, Shane? You washing your hands more often? Are you
No,
staying out of crowds? Are you wearing gloves around the house?
no,
You're not doing any of those things, huh?
no. No,
Okay.
I keep my counters clean because of being in the restaurant business for so many years, and I
Yeah.
learned years ago the best disinfectant is Windex.
Oh, yeah?
So I spray everything with. It's great to keep everything clean.
Yeah.
It's a great it's great to kill
Hmm.
anything, and especially stainless steel. Like it's really great cleaner for stainless steel. Not so Windex. That's what I use. Great.
All right. Well, sounds good. Yeah. 46% in early voting say no, it's just a lot of hype. 20% said yes, I'm more hygienic. 6% are undecided. And few other answers. No, I avoid crowds and wash my hands a lot already. No, but the flu season has just like every other year. And toilet paper shortage. And yes, we're afraid of being around people. So there you are. Yeah,
That's right.
I'm afraid of being around people too. That's why we talk to you on the radio. So all right. We got to get out of here for just a couple of minutes. We've got Fox News, Brick Foster weather, and we're brought to you by the Club Tavern and Grill. We'll be right back. 24 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Wednesday, March 4th, 2020, 41 degrees outside. We're looking for a high of 47 today, and blustery winds up to 40 miles an hour, so be careful out there. Welcome back to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. We're brought to you by the Club Tavern and Grill. They're in the Best Western Grand Tree on North 7th across from Walmart. Tell them Tom and Shane sent you in. It's where the locals go, and well, Shane, I don't know. We've got Tim Fox's running mate, Jon Knockey, will be here at 7 o'clock. And I'm debating, do we do this day in history or do we do local news till
Oh
then?
no, you do your local news.
All
People
right,
love
let's do the local news. Yeah, that's a little more fun, I think, than all this other stuff. So. Well, in local news, the governor is forming a Corvallis task force, Shane. We're ready to go. We got no cases in Montana, but hey, why let that stop us? Let's spend some money. Let's get some folks out there. Let's get some testing kits in here, and let's get going. Because who knows? Somebody from Seattle might wander in here.
That's right. Or may have already done so.
Or may have already done so. That's for sure. Yeah. So, yeah, the governor is on top of things, of course, as always. Let's see. Plan, don't panic. That's the message they're sending out to you. We do not have any known cases of the coronavirus in Montana, but all Montanans need to move forward with the understanding that this virus may soon be here, and we all need to be prepared. So Steve Bullock said Tuesday he was activating a task force to coordinate the state's preparations and coordination among agencies and public health departments. So there we are. Influenza is active in the state and has similar symptoms to coronavirus, but including fever, cough, shortness of breath. But there are vaccines against the antiviral treatments for the flu, but I don't think we have a full-fledged vaccine yet in commercial use or widespread use yet for the coronavirus.
Yeah, well, I sort of was digging in and digging around and looking because this drop in the Fed rate yesterday, there's no question they have to have bad numbers, and you just have to look. I mean,
Yeah.
air flights or travel is down.
Yeah.
Vacations are down, boating is down. People won't go out to the bar. I mean, everything's down.
Right.
And to say this isn't going to affect the GDP of your country, I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
I think the numbers were so severe. You don't get on the phone with the Federal Reserve Chairman, and the Secretary of Treasury Mnuchin, with their counterparts in the G6,
Yeah.
and all agree. Oh, we got to do something about our interest rates together.
Yeah. Yeah.
They haven't done that since 2008, right? So
And I guess they didn't include the Russians in that either. But
well, no one wants their currency anyway.
well, that's true. But well, yeah, it's I really thought that that interest rate cut would spur the market, but it tanked again. It's back up again this morning. We're about 580 points up, but we're well below where we were, obviously.
That's right.
Yeah,
I again was so unexpected that at first glance you think, oh well, this is what everybody was talking about, even the president. But
yeah. Well, I think part of it was the fear of Bernie yesterday and Super Tuesday also. And I think, I think things calmed down because they think, well, Biden may get this and we can live with him, but we can't live with Bernie. Now I don't know if that's right or not, but anyway, that's a conspiracy theory I may have out there that Bernie is going to be detrimental to the stock market, but Biden at least.
Oh, I think he would be. There's no question. Yeah.
But I mean, Biden, the worst you could do is go back to Obama, get rid of all the regulations that Trump put in, and raise the tax rate back up on the rich, and all of that. So I don't know. That's kind of where we are.
And then watch closely whoever he picked as vice president, because that person will end up being president before the 4 years are up.
I was going to say, well, look for somebody in either Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin, or Ohio, more than likely. All right, all right, we got to take a short break here. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Hang on. Welcome back, everyone. I was going to tell you to stop eating your cookie. We're coming back. So.
Cookie's all gone.
The cookie's gone. All right. Jon Knockey is here, or Knockey is here, and we'll be talking with him at 7 o'clock. In other local news, Gallatin County put 2 mill levies on the June ballot, and we'll talk to the county commissioners about this coming up on Friday. The increase is for the 911 center. Raise property taxes $16.20 annually for the owner of a $200,000 home, which I don't think exists in Bozeman anywhere that I'm aware of. Unless it's a Cabello tent.
with 2 rooms.
Yeah, and it would bring in about $2.1 million. The search and rescue provide about $706,000 to the department and would increase taxes for the same homeowner by $5.40. So altogether, you're going to get a $21.80 pizza out of there, or 4 or 5 lattes, or maybe 3 lattes.
Well, that they'll have to share.
Yeah. So anyway, the voters will decide in June whether to raise property taxes to pay for the 911 dispatch center and the search and rescue. Both of them are pretty critical to our, to our county. I know we don't like to pay taxes, but when you need 911, it's nicer there, and particularly search and rescue. If you're out in the wilderness somewhere and you're lost, they're well worth the money if you've ever been out there and been lost somewhere. So. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, the voters will decide. The increase for the 911 dispatch center would raise property taxes, as I said, about $16.20 per $200,000 home, and the additional revenue would pay for upgrades to the county's 911 communication system and would fund future staffing and operational needs. So as we grow, 911 becomes more and more important.
Yeah, but how irresponsible. I mean, 911 is an absolute necessity.
Absolutely.
And you have a budget, and this is the way we're going to take care of this one.
Yeah.
What we're not going to do is fund 911, and we're going to go out and spend money on parks and pathways and these other things that we really think are more important than that. And then when 911 comes up, we'll say, oh, well, you'll have to have a mill levy to pay for it. Like, that's just irresponsible.
Well, you're confusing the city with the county. The city has the
No,
parks, and the county
no,
has the 911. Yeah.
but I'm talking about other
Yeah.
costs,
Well,
like
that's true.
parks
Yeah.
that the
Well,
county
we
has.
wonder about that. Yeah. That,
Yeah.
the government has three mandatory spendings: Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and the interest on the debt. Got to pay those three things
Yeah, that's
before
right.
you pay anybody else.
Mhm.
So, I think a lot of people would figure, and again, we're mixing the city and the county, but you figure police, fire, 911,
911.
and
Yeah, exactly.
the ambulance or whatever would be
That'd be number one.
yeah, those would be the top priorities.
Yeah.
I guess that you need to.
Education would probably be number two.
Yeah,
Right?
would be down there somewhere. So I don't know. Anyway,
Pretty
uh,
sad.
I don't know. That's a tough one for me because the 911 center. If you have to call them, for medical emergency or any other reason, certainly you want them. You want them there, and you want them with the best equipment possible that we can, provide them, and and same with search and rescue. If you're out in the woods somewhere and you're lost or whatever, or hurt yourself or broke
That's
something
right.
or whatever.
Or if you're an elderly person
Sure.
in your home
Yeah.
in your home alone,
Yeah.
and you fall down the stairs and you happen to have your phone because you just shattered your hip.
Yeah,
You know.
you definitely want somebody to come and see you.
And you're in all this pain, and you know what you're thinking about? Oh my gosh, they're going to knock my front door down because it's locked. So
Yeah.
you're trying to pull yourself to the door to unlock it. I mean, that's what we folks think about. Okay.
Well, we
So-
put a lock box on our back porch, so
Oh, did you?
yeah, so we can just give them the number and they can key their way in.
Very
So
smart.
yeah.
You should tell people about.
I
lock
did.
box.
I just did.
I know. What is it?
Yeah, it was. It's not expensive at all. It's a little small box. Put a key in it, and it's got a 4-digit code or whatever. And
And that's what people see on their
Yeah.
houses when they're up for sale because realtors use them. They came up
sure,
with
yeah,
the idea.
yeah, exactly. Let's take a phone call. Caller, you are on the air. What's up?
Good morning, gentlemen. This is Kevin.
Hey, Kevin, how you doing?
Hey, Kevin.
Shane, you hit the nail right on the head.
What it was-
they just want more and more taxes and more taxes for different things all the time. And the city and the county were together on their Law and Justice Center, and now they've split. But you're absolutely right. They want all these nice, beautiful things, and that's great. But who the heck is going to pay for it? You can only squeeze so much money out of the people in the county.
Yeah.
It's tax to death, tax to death. Done.
Yeah.
They're going to get a big fat no in November on that.
Well, it's going to be in June, so you don't have to wait till November to say no. It's going to be on the ballot in June. So,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And they do that so only a plurality of people come out.
Yeah, and it'll be a mail-in ballot
only
too.
like,
So
20 or 30% of the electorate comes out and votes. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
There's a huge subdivision, a commercial subdivision off of the frontage road as you're going into Bozeman from Belgrade, and I know everybody in the county has probably seen it, but the state MDT is out there.
Mhm.
Why don't they look at some property out there and not only do the 911 thing, but put all the county stuff together right out there.
Yeah.
With the state stuff, they need a new place for the sheriff's department.
Mhm.
Why not sheriff's 911? Whatever they need in some land that's already out there and being developed.
Yeah. Well, that we can certainly ask them on Friday.
Yeah.
What they think about that. They'll be in here Friday, so we'll talk about this levy then, and
right.
the need for it and everything. I'm sort of with you. I'm taxed out too. I live in the county, and of course I'm taxed to the brink as it is. But
Yeah.
it's you got to pick and choose what's important to you. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
But,
why don't they cut some taxes someplace,
mhm.
one of their beautification processes or something like that, and
Yeah. Mhm.
fund the critical stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's what we were talking about
Is that what
before.
government's for?
Yeah. What are your main priorities? Fund those, and then everybody
Yeah.
else gets the short straw. But let's do fire and police, rescue, 911, safety, and everything else. Kind of if we got anything left, then we'll deal with the parks and the other stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Take
All
a
right.
look at Democrat-run city and counties
Yeah.
across the country and see what kind of shape they're in. And
Amen.
bingo,
Yeah.
here's what's coming and happening in Bozeman
There's your
and
answer.
Gallen County.
You got it
Yeah.
right there. Well, the city just passed that parking district, so you're gonna have to pay to play downtown.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we even had somebody, a movie star, trying to help us out a little bit there. So
Yeah. So well,
craziness.
I hear you. All right, man. Thanks for the call. Thanks for listening. Appreciate
You
it.
bet.
All right, take care. All right, we got to take a short break here. We've got Jon Knockey coming up. He's running mate with Tim Fox. We're going to talk about what the lieutenant governor will do and what Tim Fox has on his agenda and some other things. So get your questions ready at 7 o'clock. We'll be talking with John, and we'll be right back right after this. Stay tuned. 4 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Wednesday, March 4th, 2020, 41 degrees outside, looking for a high of 47 degrees. This is the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane, brought to you by the Club Tavern and Grill, located in the Best Western Grand Tree on North 7th, across from Walmart. It's where the locals go. Tell them Tom and Shane sent you in. They're serving breakfast right now. So if you're out driving around wanting a healthy, nourishing breakfast provided by a farmer or a rancher and a truck driver, by all means, the Grand Tree is a great place to get a great breakfast, and they got some good stuff there. Let's see, from our text line, Shane, 478-8298. Gee whiz, we're being taxed to death here. Take money from the parks to improve the 911. There you are.
There you go.
Why do we need parks for? The Bridger Mountain is about the biggest park you can get. I like that one. They just killed downtown, talking about the parking district there where you got to pay to play or pay to park or whatever. Whereas the additional property tax money for the county is making off of the house that used to be worth $200,000 but now is worth $400,000, I think they can get by with what they already making in extra income, and that may be true. Let's see. Does Shane still believe there'll be a brokered Democrat convention?
100%.
All right. Remember when Hillary told us how much smarter liberals were than conservatives? Please refresh my memory again how smart they are as they head to the polls and vote for Joe Biden in November. Ha ha, John sent that one. Well, the property taxes for the county, 62% goes to schools, 18% goes to run the county, the offices and the people and whatever. 16% goes to the cities in the county, and 1% goes to the university, and 3% take care of roads and libraries in the various districts and wherever. So that'll give you some idea what they do with the money.
That's right.
Yeah, so I'm not sure where the 911 falls in there. I guess it falls into the county.
It falls under a crack somewhere.
Yeah, there's a small piece of the pie for 911 there somewhere.
Yeah, it's in an open envelope very near file 13.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly where it is, yeah. Let's see. Let's go back to our local news here because we've got some other things that are going on. State officials are looking for information on several trumpeter swans that were killed and left on Central Park Pond east of Manhattan 2 weeks ago. Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks game wardens and biologists determined that the swans were shot illegally, according to an FWP news release, and further analysis is pending, and the investigation into the incident is ongoing. So if you know any information about that, get a hold of Fish, Wildlife, and Parks and tell them, hey, I know who did that. So
There you go.
Yeah, that's pretty nasty stuff. Swans are kind of cool, you know.
They are very cool. They're beautiful birds.
They really are. You know, no need to shoot them.
Well, no, you shouldn't.
Well, no.
But the amazing thing is that standard fare 100 years ago, goose, until they discovered the wild turkey, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Benjamin Franklin wanted the turkey as a national bird.
That's right.
Instead of the eagle, he thought it was a lot more. You could feed it. It didn't fly around. Didn't bother anybody. So.
but the rest of Congress, that was the reason they didn't want it, because it couldn't fly.
Oh, I got to have a high flying bird, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. Like the Eagle Man.
That's
baby.
right, man. Hey,
Get
we're
up there
flying
and
high.
look over, look around, circle, and attack.
All right. We'll be back. We're going to be talking with Jon Knockey next. He's the running mate of Tim Fox for Tim Fox running for governor. Jon will be running for lieutenant governor, obviously, and we'll be chatting with him. So get your questions ready for that, and we'll be back following the news at the top of the hour. Welcome back, everyone. 6 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock. It's Wednesday, March 4th, 2020, 41 degrees outside. Shane Taubman, half man, half amazing in Vancouver, British Columbia. My co-host and Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor in the house. And this is the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. And we want to welcome Jon Knockey, who is, you're going to be running with Tim Fox.
Yeah, I'm off and running with Tim Fox as running mate.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You a transplant? Are you a native? What are you?
Yeah, well, I'm a little bit of both. I grew up in Portland, Oregon. I grew up in a manufacturing family, so my great-grandfather, grandfather, and dad all worked in wood products manufacturing for the same factory. And all of our summer vacations as a family were doing the plywood tour, so we would spend all the summers in St. Regis, Libby, Thompson Falls, Livingston, and I just fell in love with Montana. And I as a young boy, and then I came out to play football for the Bobcats in 2000. And so I like to say I got here as quick as I could and moved to Montana as a teenager.
Yeah. How was your football experience here?
It was fantastic. My true freshman year, I got to travel with the team. We did not win a football game. It was 2000.
Wow.
And we were 0-11.
Yeah.
And but it was one of those situations where everyone on the team just knew we were building something. 2 years later, we beat the Grizz, won the Big Sky. The next year, we won the Big Sky championship again. And I think since that team turned it around, you've seen all the successes of recent. And it's interesting. I remember going out on the field in those 0-11 years games, and you could pretty much shake the hands of everyone in the crowd. And then I took my daughter back to that last playoff game before we went on to NDSU, and it was just rocking. And it was interesting, the transformation.
Yeah, well, it always is. We love winning teams, and we've been pretty fortunate here. The women's basketball's doing real well. The men's football, has a pretty positive outlook this year, and so we hope. You'll be able to oversee those guys from Helena, maybe. We don't know. But family man, obviously you got your daughter with you.
Yeah. So Avery, our 8-year-old, wanted to come in and see what a radio station was like before going to school. So
here it is.
Yeah, we're gonna have the radio interview and then go to McDonald's and get a sausage McMuffin and then go to school. So this is a pretty exciting day for her.
Holy smokes, that's great. All right, sounds good. All right. So why politics? What was your major in college?
Yeah, so I graduated Montana State with a business degree, and I'm with the exception of the 2017 legislature, I've been in the private sector my entire career. So the reason that I'm running, it really comes down to family. I mentioned my manufacturing family upbringing and what that means to be to growing up in a blue collar family, where you say what you're going to do and you get it done. Then my football family, where 11 players on offense, as a quarterback, it's really paramount that all 11 players are working together and the teamwork involved in that. And then the last 10 years of my career, I've been working for John Deere. And in the last 4 years, I was the manager of our corporate strategy. So to put that in perspective, Deere's got about a $35 billion operating budget. And I had the good fortune to manage that and work with our CEO and his direct staff on the strategy. And I compare that to the strategy when I was a legislator up in Helena. And there was not the transparency, there was not the focus on the priorities and what we're here to do. And to put it in perspective, the Deere budget was 7 times greater than the state of Montana's budget. Right. So anyone says that the state government budget's too big and it's too many moving parts, to say, no, trust me, it can be done. And so it was just this idea of how do you bring strategy, focus, transparency, efficiency, productivity to state government and clearly indicate what you're trying to do with that vision and that strategy. And so you bring that all together, and then the strategy and the family, and obviously the most important family to me is my family. My wife, Megan, and I have been married 15 years. We live right up on Spring Hill Road. We have 3 kids, 8-year-old, 6-year-old, and 3-year-old. And I think about the Montana that they're going to inherit. And to me, this is a good fight to have about making government more smarter, more efficient, and unleashing economic growth across the state. And so for me, it was about family and strategy.
Good. All right. Shane, you want to weigh in here?
Yeah, I wanted to compliment you on your book, Theodore Roosevelt and the Making of American Leadership. Excellent book, especially the section about his being police commissioner in New York. But more importantly, what he offered to the West insofar as creating national parks. My second part question, I have 2-part question. The first one, as a populist, and as Tom and I rightly say, he was the first top populist president in the United States. How much of effect do you think Trump as a populist will help with his tales, in this election to help you get elected? And number 2, do you think that the application of leadership that you see with the president on the issue with the coronavirus, your involvement or not, has been good?
Yeah, so I'll take the first part of the question on the populism and Trump and TR. It's really hard to. There's only been one Theodore Roosevelt. There's only one Abraham Lincoln. There's only going to be one Donald Trump, right? It's really hard to take people from different areas of history and pick them up and move them 100 plus years. But what we found in TR, which was really interesting to me, was a man who tried to find middle ground on big issues. And you had this really wealthy Northeasterner in Theodore Roosevelt who went to North Dakota and Montana and became the cowboy president, right? He was born very, very sick, almost died when he was younger, and then became the apostle of the strenuous life. You have Theodore Roosevelt, who was born very wealthy, but then was a fighter for the common man. And you have this guy who was trying to bring America together. And that's what I really cherish about TR, was this understanding that America is better together, and that even though you're east or west, north or south, rich or poor, it's all about where we're going as a country together. And you really see that unity at the turn of the 20th century in America. And I give a lot of credit to Theodore Roosevelt, and also the longer term vision. I mean, my goodness, this guy came from such a wealthy family that he was very worried that big wealthy families were going to buy up huge tracts of land and choke everyone off of the West. And you just think about what the West would look like today had Theodore Roosevelt not had that vision for our outdoors and clean water and
national parks,
and wildlife protection. And I promised to the listeners this was not a setup to a segue, but the next Monday, March 9th, Tim Fox and I will be announcing our outdoor conservation strategy, and it's going to be the biggest and boldest and most visionary outlook to our Montana's outdoor and conservation. So if you like to hunt, hike, and fish, like to be out of doors like we all do in Montana, this will be a great thing to check in. You can find that on foxforgovernor.com.
Okay. All right. Do it, Shane?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay,
yes,
good.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Just want to make sure if there's a follow-up or not. Sorry. Okay. You're in a crowded field. What's it going to take to win?
Yeah, well, you're seeing it right now with the our Montana United strategy. So it turns out we're running against the richest man in the United States Congress in Greg Gianforte. And we also know that in 2016, that was the only statewide election that was lost by Republicans. And there's about $35 that was spent for every single one of those votes, and we lost. And he recently picked a lieutenant governor running mate that was the only other person to lose statewide in the 2016 election. So our whole message here is two-pronged. It's one, Tim Fox wins the general election. If we get through the primary, we win the general election, and we can have a Republican governor for the first time in 16 years.
Yeah.
And
Since Roscoe, I believe.
in Roscoe, there's another great segue. Thank you. Governor Roscoe has endorsed our campaign and is all in behind Tim Fox and Jon Knockey. And the other thing we have to remember that it was in that 2016 election when Tim Fox and Greg Gianforte were both on the ballot together. Tim Fox got 53,000 more votes than Donald Trump. He got 96,000 more votes than Congressman Greg Gianforte. That means 1/3 of all Montanan voters selected Tim Fox and not Congressman Greg Gianforte. 1/3. And in that election, Tim won 54 of 56 counties, and he got more votes than any Republican in the history of the state of Montana. So Tim's a winner. And that's that bodes well for the message of Republicans of, do we want change in Helena? We got to make sure we kick up the candidate that wins. The other thing we're doing is we're calling it the Montana United, a strategic vision for the future, where we have went around to over 500 Montanans across the state that are leading in different sectors and different pillars of the economy and said, all right, for agriculture, what would you want to see a Republican governor get up and say? And I have right here in front of me, Tom, like this is our pillar for agriculture, where we just go through in 13 pages the main themes of ag and what we need to do. So we put that out in front of the ag community and got several endorsements. We have over 55,000 engagements across the state of Montana right now just on agriculture. Then we come in and we did it on public safety. In every single police association in the state, including the Bozeman Police Association, Great Falls, Havre, National Police Association, Montana Police Association, looked at our strategy and said, we're all in behind this and we're going to endorse Tim Fox. And we have 12 more coming. So next week is the outdoor policy. You're going to see ones in education, veterans affairs, workforce needs, healthcare. I mean, the list goes on and on. So the strategy here is we win with Tim. We have the candidate that will win the general election, and also we're going to win with issues, and we're going to be very big and very bold and say this is our vision for Montana going forward.
Yeah. All right. We've got to take a short break. When I come back, we need to talk about what key issues do you see facing state of Montana in the coming election and in the future. So we'll be right back right after this. So stay tuned. And we're talking with Jon Knockey. He's running for lieutenant governor, along with Tim Fox running for governor. And we'll be right back to talk more right after this. 19 minutes after the hour. It's Wednesday, March 4th, and I apologize. It's Jon Knockey, calling you by the wrong name here, so I'll correct that.
Oh, no worries. It's an odd last name. I'll give you that.
Well, I get all kinds of pronunciation for mine as well. So, and so does Shane, to remind people who we are every 10 minutes. So. Well, we were going to talk about what are some of the key issues facing the state. You guys have Medicaid is one of them, obviously.
Yep.
Medicaid expansion. We've got the opioid problem and the drug issue and things like that. We've got we've been languishing in around the 40s in employment through the time. And so what do you see? What do you see happening here?
Well, I think that when you look across Montana and understanding how big she is and how spread out our citizens are, we have to actually have pillars of strategy. So we need an agriculture strategy. We need a public safety strategy. We need a healthcare strategy. We need to figure out conservation and outdoors across the state. Public education, 90% of our kids are in public education. We need a tribal strategy. You need tax reform. I mean, the list goes on and on. We need an energy strategy. Right now, today, we get about 50% less per capita of taxes today than we did in 1985 in nominal terms. It was about $300 in 1985 per Montana citizen, and now it's about $185. And so that third leg of the tax stool has basically been cut by 40-50%.
Like I said, budget's always been our issue because we don't get a lot of money from the feds, obviously, because of our size and whatever. The new census, we may have another representative, depending on.
I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
And then that's part of the, Montana needs good representation in Washington, D.C. And so I was a little bit bummed that the current congressman decided to abandon that seat and come back, because we need need seniority out there. We need Montana voices to be heard in Washington, D.C., because we only have, we have the 2 senators like every other state, but we only had 1 congressman. And so getting another congressman would be very beneficial. And then back to your issue on, the things most focused in on Montana. You take all those pillars I just mentioned and take, for instance, like health, mental health, right? Mental health costs us throughout the system, whether it is in the drug and opioid situation, whether it's in incarcerations, whether it's in a high rate of child protective service incidents. We need to tackle mental health. So we can either try to mitigate the symptoms of the issue downstream, where there's lots of costs and all those things that I mentioned, or we can try to move mental health up, invest in mental health, primary care options across the state, and work with the private sector, work with doctors and hospitals, as opposed to trying to set up new government programs, and really try to mitigate the cost downstream. Another situation where we have with our cost, I mentioned the third leg of the tax situation with energy and natural resources, is property taxes, right? Property taxes in Montana, we pay on average 1/3 higher in our property taxes than the national average. We have over 16 classes of property taxes across the state, and property taxes are actually not a state government situation. It's more the local government, because the local governments might not be getting as much assistance and help from the state. And so it's a little bit of this, Montanans get hammered. And you think about agriculture. Essentially, we have a 1/3 tax when we compare to other states around us, because, and with our property taxes that they don't have, our commodity prices are higher, right? The ability to get the commodity off the ground. You talk about manufacturing and asset footprint. It's the same thing. Anything with a property footprint puts us at a disadvantage in Montana. And the other thing, too, across all those pillars, we're seeing a workforce shortage, right? Nurses, hospitals can't find nurses. Tractor companies cannot find technicians. Builders cannot find engineers, welders, plumbers. I mean, you just go down the list. And so we really need this revamping of workforce growth and talent creation. And to me, that's not, a government opportunity. This is private sector working with our education, public education, as well as our colleges, to ensure that we are preparing our students for the jobs that are ready for tomorrow.
All right. Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number, 522. No phone call there, Shane? Okay.
Nope.
Okay. That means this is no phone call. Sorry. That's okay. You kept pointing like, hey, there's a phone call.
There was. You waited like 5 minutes.
Okay. Well, as you know, we do the show for the listeners, not the callers. So, but let's take a couple more calls anyway. Caller, you're on the air with Jon Knockey. What's up?
I have a question.
Sure.
I wondered, what percent sales tax would it take to replace property tax in Montana? We just got rid of property tax and instituted a sales tax. What percent sales tax would we need to replace the property tax? And the reason I'm really against property tax is because you never really own your property. You can pay it off, but if you don't pay the tax, then you still can't have it. So you still always owe on property. So I don't know if you have an answer.
All right. Thanks for the call. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I don't know the exact specific answer to what it would take to mitigate the property taxes, because property taxes across the state are different based on different areas. But what we do know is in the Montana Constitution, there is a maximum sales tax of 4%. So that is in the Constitution at 4%. So what I'm not advocating right now is pro sales tax by any stretch of the imagination. But what we are saying is that there's a great opportunity to revolutionize our energy and natural resource production in the state and do it in an environmentally sustainable way to get that third leg back up to what it's been historically, right? And I think that's a great opportunity, and so we need to focus in on an energy revolution. And then I think the other comment was right about a property tax is you don't really ever own it. And the big challenge you see with property taxes, to the caller's great point, is if you're elderly and living on a fixed income and that thing just continues to skyrocket. And everyone in the Bozeman area knows exactly what we're talking about when we got our property taxes bill last year. So to me, it's a little bit more of the coordination. You know, the state's doing one thing, the local governments are doing another thing, the federal government's doing another thing. Well, the citizen, you know, you can't just say, hey, look, I'm part of the state government, I'm not the problem. The citizen sees all these taxes getting hit. And so it takes a strong, bold leader
come from everywhere.
to stand that up. And then so the Montana Constitution has it at 4% as the maximum. We see resort taxes in places like Big Sky and Whitefish where they can institute a local option sales tax. But to be very, very clear, Tim Fox and Jon Knockey were on the record that we will do nothing to increase the aggregate tax base for the Montana citizen. And, you know, one more final comment is 1 in 4 goods that are sold in Montana come from e-commerce, right? E-commerce, and that's not being taxed. So the other 3 of the 4 goods are being taxed, and we're being penalized here in Montana because those are the individuals that are paying the property tax, right? And so it's a little bit of this thinking forward to the new economy and what's coming. We probably need a leader that can sit down, think through these issues, and see what's best for Montana going forward.
Okay. All right. Let's take a call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, thanks for waiting. You're on the air with Jon Knockey. What's up?
Good morning. You're talking about taxes, and I am a pay taxes. I own a house. I came here to Montana because I could afford to live here in the Gallatin Valley. You say that you're not going to raise taxes, but yet every time we turn around, we're getting hit with levies. What are you going to do to keep our taxes absolutely down? The reason why you don't get any workers in this state is because you have out-taxed the wages. And people are not going to come here anymore because you can't afford to buy it.
All right.
You're putting up houses that cost $400,000 or $500,000, and the guy makes $15 an hour. Go figure.
All right, got to go. Hey, thanks for the call. Real quick, because we're out of time.
Oh no, and I think that's a very you could sense the excitement in the caller's voice, and that's right. What we have to do is we have to focus in on all regulations that are increasing the cost of housing. I mean, the permitting cost to have a housing start in Bozeman is through the roof. And the other thing too is, like I mentioned, mill levies and property taxes are local. The state taxes are something else, and we need to actually bring that together and have a plan going forward. So really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for coming in. Jon Knockey running with Tim Fox for Lieutenant Governor, and we'll see you again, I would imagine. Yeah. So we'll be right back with more after this.
Thanks, Tom.
All right. Thank you. 24 minutes for the top of the hour. It is, it's Wednesday, hump day. Happy hump day, Shane.
That's right.
Absolutely.
We're happy here.
Yeah. Let's see. Should we take a phone call? Let's do the market update. Do the market
it's
update.
up 523. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say do the market update. I'm sorry. I was just trying to introduce the market update with Shane Matobin.
Oh, that's okay. There's a young lady on the phone. She just said hello to me, so you might want to put her on.
Okay. 522-TALK is the number. Good morning. You're on the Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Good morning, guys.
Hey.
So, what was that, the initiative, the Medicare expansion that was on the ballot last time that the people voted down? And then the legislature and our own Governor, Steve Bullock, went ahead and put it into place. Was that the Medicare expansion? What initiative was that?
Medicaid. Back during the Obamacare, the feds picked up 90% of the cost of Medicaid for 3 years, I believe it was. And then after that, it started being reduced. And we were, it was, after that, we would start paying more of it.
Yeah, there was, I'm not sure if that's what there was one there that even if you didn't work, but you could, you would be eligible for this. And they just ramrodded that through where the people voted it down. They knew, the legislature, the government, they knew the will of the people. I understand sometimes there's an issue where it's never been on the ballot, and maybe it's not clear what the will of the people is. but we voted that initiative down, where if people were able to work and they didn't because they chose not to work, they were still eligible for this benefit. It's like,
yeah, I think it was equal protection.
it's just,
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
I mean, when people are able to work and they choose not to, and they can get this benefit, it's not right. I mean, even in the Bible, in the book of Ruth, if you were poor, if you couldn't do anything, they would take care of you. If you're paralyzed, blind, whatever. But if you were able to work, you were allowed to go glean in the fields, and you were expected. If you could work, if you could do something for yourself, you were allowed to do that, gleaning in the field to take care of your own little family or whatever it was, even if you're poor and you didn't have much. This thing of, I can work, but I don't want to, so I'll get this benefit. It's totally wrong. And what I'm wondering is, how your guest felt about that.
Well, he's no longer here, so I can't ask
okay.
him, but we may have him on next week. Tim Fox is coming to town, so we may have both of them on next week. So stay tuned for that and see.
Yeah, the story I'm referring to is, the story about Ruth and Boaz. He was able to glean in his fields, and because she was able to, she was you're expected to.
Okay. Well, it's you know where you live, right?
Yeah, it's like and it's the thing that they ramrodded through, even though the people voted it down. It's just going to increase our taxes, so it's going to be impossible for some people to live here.
Yeah. Well, that's the situation I think we're facing. For many people are going to have to reevaluate where they are. And that's a sad state of affairs, but that goes with a growing community and a place where people want to live.
Part of my point is, the officials that decided, let's pass this anyway, even though the people voted it down.
Yeah.
We need to know who those are so they can be voted out of office.
Absolutely. All right. Hey, thanks for the call.
All right.
Appreciate it. All right. Shane, we got to take another break. We'll come back to the market report from you right after these important words. We'll be out for 1 minute. 18 minutes before the top of the hour, Shane Montalban from Canada has the American stock market report. Go, Shane.
Well, the Dow Jones is up 497 and moving quickly up and down 26 over 26,000 again to 26,400. The S&P 500 is over 3,000 again, up 44. NASDAQ 100, 8,700, up 113. All of Europe, the FTSE, the DAX in Germany, CAC in France, FTSE in Italy, and even Spain. Oh my goodness, every major market and minor market in Europe is up. All the markets, even Nikkei is up in Asia. It's a trader's market. It's been pushed to this level because of the currency trade that we talked about on the euro dollar, where it went up, 3 full basis points, Friday, Saturday, or to Monday. And the commodities market, of course, is heating up too because oil is bouncing back. And boy, natural gas, 192, almost 193, 7 cents away for Nirvana of fracking. Wow, it gets to $2 and that could turn that market very quickly. On top of everything else, we talked briefly at the beginning that the Fed must know something everyone else doesn't. But the traders are saying, well, right now it's a strong traders market because things have better value. We'll wait for the numbers. So the first quarter, numbers will come in. Everyone's foretelling that there won't be great earnings, and we'll wait and see. If the coronavirus remains what I would call soft in the U.S., and the only issue becomes the impact of the trading markets with China, we may be fine. The 1-month U.S. bond is 1.14 up today. The only bond that's up. The 5-year bond is at 0.95. 30 is at 1.59. And that's pretty much everything for right this moment. It's up to you now, Mayor. Take it away.
All right. Hey, thanks, Shane, for that. Thanks for bringing us up to speed. From our text line, 478-8298, Iran's stockpile of enriched uranium has jumped. UN Atomic Agency says, glad Trump pulled out of that Iran deal. Well, there's still 4 or 5 countries still in it. Where are the snapbacks, all the sanctions, everything that agreement was supposed to do, Shane?
Exactly. They proudly came out and announced the world 5 months ago now.
Yeah.
That they were going to start enriching uranium with the purpose of building a bomb, and all the signees, total breach of basically throwing the deal out the door.
Yep.
Which Trump said they would do. They did it, and now not a single European has snapped back their sanctions. Wow, yeah. I wonder why.
Yeah, they haven't done anything, and that's why we got out of the deal. And that's what I said at the very beginning when I read this deal. They're only held back for like 10 years. They can still get a bomb if they want one. And, for Trump to get out of it, China's still in it. Russia's still in it. I want to say, who else is in it? Great Britain is in it?
Yeah, Great Britain.
Germany, maybe?
Right.
I forget what there was
Germany,
5,
Germany, Italy. Yeah.
There was at least 5 countries besides us in there. And the thing was, if they didn't adhere to the agreement, all these sanctions were going to come back on them. And, but it had to be a unanimous vote.
That's right.
And that ain't going to happen with Russia.
It's all European sanctions because the U.S. has sanctioned them as much as they can. I mean, there's nothing or no one left to sanction. But,
I was going to say, not much you can do with them. So let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Call you on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Well, this is still Colonel Clank.
Yeah.
Good morning, good sir.
Good morning, Shane. Well, Shane, this question's for you. I got two or three questions. How come Canada doesn't have the coronavirus yet?
Oh, we do. We've actually had deaths too.
Have you?
But one in Toronto, a woman returning from Hong Kong, and we've had 4 deaths here in BC. I think it is. Yeah. Okay. So I think it's 5 total.
Okay. Well, then, do you suppose they weaponize this stuff?
Yeah, I do. I do now.
I do too.
Because for it to have shown up where it has, without any clear evolution of how it got there or a manner of how it got there, I think it's been a terrorist act. I think so.
I think so. I think you're absolutely right.
It's like the whole thing that happened in Australia, which was terrible this year, and then it turns out that most of the fires down there were started by people, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Exactly right.
Okay, now this question's for both of you. How much money was lost in the 401ks in this last debacle, this 4,000 deal drop in the Dow?
$2 trillion.
Yeah, I think we lost $2 trillion overall. That wouldn't be just 401ks, but that would be kind of 60, value of American assets.
Okay,
60% of that. So 60% of that. So about 1.2 trillion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the poor guy suffers again, right?
No.
Well, we got about half of it back.
It's correct. It's a correction.
Yeah, I remember in 2008 it wiped out my boys' 401ks.
Well, that lasted a long time, though.
Oh, yeah, I know it. And I was just wondering how long this is going to continue.
Well, it's only been a month.
I know it. Well, the virus keeps spreading. See, like Shane said. I think
that's true. It does. Yeah, it's going to spread. There's no question about that. I think it will.
I see that. Yeah. I'm just kind of thinking, why do they advertise it so much? Why do they keep saying don't buy masks? Only the sick should have them.
Yeah.
And all the stores, I guess, in town here in Bozeman are sold out of masks.
Yeah.
The grocery stores are they're selling a lot of food and stuff. People stocking up.
Well, the smart answer is the reason that they're promoting it so much is it's a downside for Trump.
That's right.
They're going after him any way they can, and if they can, artificially create a panic, then all fingers point to him, and they need something to give the Democrats an advantage in November.
Well, What's it saying about our First Amendment? What's it saying? Aren't you supposed to tell the truth, and aren't you supposed to tell both sides of the question so that people can decide for themselves instead of spinning it to their advantage?
I think that died with Nixon.
You think it did?
Yeah.
Well, then our Constitution, I know free speech, Article 1, Article 2 they're trying to take away. 3 and 4 is gone.
Yeah.
Okay. And 10, we don't have, number 10 says that we have the last right to speak. And we don't even have that anymore.
No, we don't. So
anyway,
you can only speak here, Clint. That's the only vestibule left. Vestige for you to voice your opinion is here on this radio station.
And that's why I'm doing it, and I'm going to do it till the day I kick off. And I got some whiskey out here that when I kick off, you and Shane's got to come from Vancouver.
Okay, yeah, we'll finish that bottle for you.
No, it's in a keg.
Oh,
I made it.
I don't know if I can do a whole keg or not.
Well, no, everybody's invited.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, we'll need a beer chaser on that.
Yeah.
We'll need a Boilermaker, yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I just
all right, thanks, man.
I want to wish the people of the Valley a nice day.
All right.
And go to work and make more money for the government.
That's right. Hey, we got to keep that government operating.
Yeah,
We're out there to work hard.
That's right.
All right, thanks.
See you later. Bye.
All right, bye-bye. We've got a caller waiting on the line, Shane. If you could converse with them, we'll be right back. 7 minutes before the top of the hour. Shane has a caller waiting on the line. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Good morning. I just wanted to point out that the reason so many folks don't want to break the deal with Iran is they think they can do business with Iran and get the money, especially since Obama gave them a plane load of cash.
Well,
and the other point I wanted to make was the idea of changing the property tax to a sales tax is a pipe dream, because the property tax provides stability in their budgeting process.
Yeah.
When they lay that money on you, tax on you, they know they're going to get it. They either get it from you, they put a lien on your property. And one of the reasons we have a big homeless problem is a lot of the cities want the police to generate revenue. You know, the homeless folks don't have property that they can get a lien on so that they can pay the ticket. They don't have bank accounts that they can put a lien on so they can get the ticket. So they're writing tickets that are never going to be paid. And so the city wants money. A soccer mom driving through town with the front plate missing, they write her a ticket. Mm-hmm. She's going to pay it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons they have such a big homeless problem is there is no law enforcement to speak of going on in those homeless communities.
Yeah. No, you're right. I was watching the Super Tuesday results last night, and they were talking about California. California's got a 3.9% unemployment rate compared to 3.6% for the nation. What the hell are all these people camped out for? We got 3.9%, and these people can't find a job? You kidding me?
Well, if you've got a long record of drug use, you're pretty much unemployable.
That's true. I would say you're right. Yeah.
And that's where those people are. They're either mentally deficient or they're captured with drugs, and most of the other folks find a way to get off.
Yeah. Well,
anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Have a pleasant day.
All right. Thanks for the call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you're on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Yeah, well, with all these high-ranking government officials up in the top ranks of our government doing things they shouldn't be doing, basically, if I wanted to give the government a grade, it would be an F, because I don't trust them. And so what's one of the biggest money makers the government has? It's your health and you being sick. The more you're sick, the more the government makes. Okay, so with that being said, the coronavirus, let's talk about the flu. Why is it that everybody gets sick off the flu at the same time? If you watch the Jets, like about 4 days ago, they were spraying. And I know you guys think it's a conspiracy theory, but it's not. But with the coronavirus, they're not spraying because not everybody's getting sick at the same time. So if you got to think about it, why is certain people getting sick and why are certain people not? even though they haven't been in contact with somebody else. I think it's the food from China. I think the food from China is what's making people sick, and I think that's where the virus is at. So that's my assumption of it. The government, they make all their money off you being sick. You can't possibly trust the government to do anything with your health, So I think that's the Chinese food that's making people sick is what I think it is.
All right, man.
So look at your labels. You can look at Chinese beef. There's Chinese beef. There's nuts from China. There's all this other stuff. You got to look at the label, see what you're buying. Don't buy Chinese food. I think that's where it's coming from.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call.
Yep.
All right. Let's see. From our text line, I remember Roscoe tried to push through sales tax 2 times, and it was voted down both times. I don't think his endorsement makes points with me. Shane, I don't live to work. I work to live. Just saying. So, there you are. Let's see. Trump is a professional victim. They are out to get him for simply reporting facts. I miss Ronald Reagan, who said the buck stops here. Well, I believe it was Harry Truman that said the buck stops here. But in Trump's case, it's the 20 stops here with inflation. So, just so you know. So, all right. We got you back on the phone, Shane?
Yes, we.
Okay. Sorry. All right.
So to define the difference, people that live to work enjoy their work. They get up in the morning, they get excited, they go off to work. Most people are self-employed, which even makes them more excited. Other people are pursuing a career that they studied to be in and are happy doing it. And the difference is if you work to live, you're working for the man. You're working for someone else, and most generally, the people that work to live aren't happy. They don't feel appreciated. They're not as enthusiastic to go to work. And it's just the two sides of work that I've defined that way, and that's why I look at it that way. So, if you work to live, I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
But you're restricted by it.
That's
That's
true.
all.
Yeah. And we love our work here.
That's right.
Absolutely. Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you are on the air. What's up?
Hey, do you guys know why so many veterans are homeless?
Why?
Because the government spent a lot of time training them to be homeless.
Training them to be homeless? You mean to live off the land?
Well, there you go.
Yeah. I've often wondered about that. I always.
When you were in Vietnam, they trained you how to live in a tent, didn't they?
That's right, man. They trained you how to ignore weather, ignore pain, ignore everything.
it beats a monthly rent check.
Yeah. Well, that's
when you ain't got nothing. You ain't got nothing to lose.
That's for sure. Hey, thanks, Vinny. Yeah, I remember. Probably that got me through being homeless in San Diego was my military trainings. I went without. I sacrificed. I did what I had to do to survive, and that's what you do. So I don't know. I've never seen a guy at the freeway with a sign that says Coast Guard veteran. People should study the Coast Guard. How come there's no homeless Coast Guard guys?
Yeah, Coast Guard pilot, helicopter pilot. Yeah. Hire me to fly yours.
6 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock. Let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Good morning, gentlemen. This is Jerry. How are you this morning?
I'm living my dream here on the award-winning KMMS morning show with Tom and Shane.
Well, my dream just blew away. It's 70-mile-an-hour winds the other day.
Whoa!
Yeah, they're on their way to Minnesota somewhere. It was pretty bad over here in the Sweetgrass County area.
Yeah.
Highest winds on Monday and Tuesday at 70.
Wow.
I believe Livingston registered earlier this morning about 73.
Wow, that's Category 1, isn't it?
Yeah, a couple of roofs blew off some buildings in Billings, so they're scrambling right now.
Yeah.
I had a question for Shane. He mentioned some virus death a handful of them. Is there any details of how these people contracted the virus? Had they traveled? Did they interact with people that traveled?
No, they're trying to cite those right now.
Well, the deaths here in the United States, I believe the majority of them were in the Seattle area in a nursing home. And what I was questioning is, did these folks, because of their ill health or, weak immune systems, may have been something else besides that coronavirus that attributed to their death?
Don't know.
I was just curious. Mm-hmm. Personally, I can't trust anything that comes out of Seattle, Washington.
Well,
yeah,
that's true.
I'm sorry, their governor is trying to take over the state of Montana, so I wouldn't put anything past them. But I just wonder, the details of how these people are contracting this virus. I think there's a lot more that needs to be looked into.
Didn't you have somebody that came from Hong Kong, Shane, that had it in Ontario? You said earlier.
Yeah, went to Toronto. Yeah, they flew
Toronto, rather. Not Ontario.
Hong Kong to Toronto. Yes. Yeah.
Well, so there are travel restrictions in place in your country, Shane?
Yes, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I was just curious.
And not by the government, but by the airline.
The airlines,
The airline pilots refused.
Trudeau wants anybody that wants to come in. Come on in, Hey, we love you.
It's really sick, The Air Canada, and Cathay Pacific. Cathay Pacific comes out of Hong Kong. And, of course, Air Canada is the only real large airline international in Canada. So the pilots refuse to fly in or out of China.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, it makes sense to me that if the Prime Minister of Canada would want more people, on the dole. So I was just curious about.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, I'm being cynical.
You're absolutely right. I agree with you 100%. I'm laughing because you got it right.
And I just heard something on the news. Italy is closing down some schools, or a lot of their schools, and other countries are taking steps. I just heard the government of Iran has canceled prayers. Now, how do you cancel prayers?
Yeah.
Well, they canceled the prayers on Friday, so no one could go to the mosque.
Yeah.
And Saudi Arabia has canceled they closed their borders to any Muslims on their Hajj to Mecca, so they can't do their
pilgrimage.
Their pilgrimage that they're supposed to once in their life.
Did they check with Allah on this?
Well, I was just going to ask the same question, Tom. Hang on a second. Okay, if you're going to cancel, can I do it in my house?
Yeah.
Wait. You guys, look. There's only one religion in the world that acknowledges their leader talks to God, and that's the Mormons. Okay.
Yeah.
So go to Salt Lake City to find out what God thinks, because he should be able to tell you.
All right, there we are. All right. Well, I don't know. I still think Allah's sitting up there saying, "What's going on? What are you doing?"
Yeah. Well,
get some prayers.
I'm not going to cancel my prayers. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, there's no more terrorists dying, to meet those 75 virgins. So they're trying to figure out some other way to get people interested, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, at least the market has rebounded slightly.
Yeah, slightly.
Yeah. So, like you said, Shane, just give it time. Things will work out, I believe. Yeah. And I was just heard on the news also that Bernie got the delegates in California.
Yeah.
Okay. But Biden's way ahead of him in the delegate count.
Yeah.
Right, but it just shows to me how far to the left that particular state is.
Oh yeah. Well, there was no surprise that he got California. I mean,
yeah.
Exactly. All right.
Yeah. We want free everything,
So the situation normal, all fouled up, right?
That's right. That's pretty close. You got it.
Okay.
Thanks, man. Thanks for the call.
You betcha. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care. 11 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock from our text line. Let's see. Corona took Hong Kong right out of the news. Well, they did pretty much, I guess. I don't know if they're still demonstrating over there or not, or if they're all staying in their homes. But Probably doing a little of each. Expert has to explain vaccines to Trump again, even after pharma companies spent hours explaining it yesterday. Yeah.
Well, that's not true. The farmers yesterday were talking about vaccines. Like, so
Well,
why
yeah.
would you get that wrong? Like, it's just.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said. Expert has to explain vaccines to Trump again, even though the pharma companies did it yesterday. So, let's see. Oh my God, Tom, that wasn't racist. I'm talking about Allah. doing my voiceover. Come on, I can make fun of a group of people if I want to.
Of course.
Of course. Let's see. Miss having a president with a skin, and who doesn't blame everyone else? What a wimp. W was attacked all the time. Guess what? He ignored it like an adult and did his job. People are camped out in California because it's warmer than Montana. Must be. I guess that's probably. Wow. Nothing gets past our listeners.
Nope, nothing at all. They're on their game.
That's right. Let's see. Conspiracy kooks, jet spraying, or mentally ill. They have serious trust issues and they vote. Guess who they vote for? Trump cult claim Trump couldn't get anything done during the impeachment. Help me understand that logic. Was he testifying? No, he was playing golf. Poor guy, such a professional victim. Well, during the impeachment, he was meeting with lawyers, thanks to the Democrats.
That's right.
I'm going to say, it's your fault he wasn't doing anything but playing golf, because Senate wasn't doing anything. The House wasn't doing anything. So what do you expect him to do? So,
and with regards to coronavirus, I think it should be said, India's got 1.4 billion people now.
Right.
They got the same population now as China, and they have 28 cases of coronavirus. They're claiming, and 16 of them are Italians.
Yeah.
They came to the country to visit. I mean, it's this disease, and the way it's spreading is so strange. It's just
also Italy's not doing much about it. They're kind of ignoring it.
Just telling everyone to go home and shutting down public venues so it doesn't doesn't expand. They see it for what it is. It's 98% of people recovered, and
Well, the other thing we got to think about, James, we got March Madness coming up here, so we're going to have basketball stadiums filled with spectators, not to mention bars, and also not to mention the school venues themselves. If you can't travel to the tournament, they'll set up big screens in some gym or something where thousands of people from the universities will gather there to cheer on the team, and this could get seriously out of hand really quick.
That's right, and if it does in any shape or form, then March Madness, collapses into a box on your computer, your television. Number one.
I was going to say, people are going to be playing to an empty venue.
And then that's an early warning signal to the market about the numbers they're looking for from corporations as far as what's going on. That would signal now probably another turn on the market because if that were to happen, not knowing how this thing really infects people or how long it lasts or the incubation period or how long it survives outside on a handle or these are so many questions that haven't been answered.
Yeah, and we got baseball starting in less than a month, so we've got that going on too.
Who cares? They cheated.
Yeah, you're right. Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you're on the award-winning KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
I would just like to say I'm not really too scared of this virus because it's just like any other one, and I'm a product of Irish inbreeding, so I have a really good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, your blood's what, 40% alcohol?
Exactly. It kills it all. But I would like to say that your impersonation of the law there for a second did have to make me get the toilet paper I stocked up on to wipe the tears out of my eyes. But also, I think it's kind of ironic how when you hear that like Saudi Arabia, who has all the money in the world, is closing off their borders, shouldn't maybe all the advancements that they've had in history, be able to go ahead and solve this for us, or do they got to close their borders and wait for the Jews and the Americans to save them?
I think
All right, gotta get to work.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Excellent call. Well, we better take a break on that one before we get called out here too much.
All right. Okay.
We'll be right back right after these important words. Hey, don't go away. And don't forget, we're brought to you by the Club Tavern and Grill. They are located in the Best Western Grand Tree on North 7th, across from Walmart. It's where the locals go. Hey, tell them Tom and Shane said, yeah, they got breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a kid-friendly menus there as well. They're voted the best happy hour, and they have happy hour specials every day of the week. We'll be right back right after these important words. 3 minutes. Stay tuned. 21 minutes after the hour. It's Wednesday, March 4th. We just got at least one report, Shane, that Bloomberg is out. There's only one source so far that's reporting that, but we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, well, but he has spent all this money to create this infrastructure, and he'll turn it over to somebody. So does he turn it over to Biden?
Well, that's what it says in this report. It says that he suspends his campaign and endorses Biden. This is from a website called Axis.com. And, it says, spend hundreds of millions of dollars, poor performance, will endorse Joe Biden.
Yeah,
And,
that's what you're right. I'm just looking at the Washington Post. Posted at 7:12 Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah, they're starting to come out of the woodwork with that. So he's out. So that leaves Bernie, Biden, and Tulsi. So far.
And Warren.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Well, coming in third in her own state, I think.
Oh, was that?
I think she's seeing the writing on the wall. Her money's going to dry up quickly. That. Right. If you can't win your own state, you're in big trouble. Right.
And her support will all go to Bernie. So
yeah,
there's no. So it's
what little there is.
It now it becomes what we remember of years by a horse race.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Here we are at the Belmont.
Yeah.
It's Bernie number 8.
Yeah.
And Biden number 4, and they're coming down the stretch, baby.
Well, if it does go to a brokered convention, I'm betting on Biden that they'll just they'll put him in on the second ballot, because they just absolutely do not want Bernie and to mount a campaign with somebody else, even if they're well known. Even Michelle Obama, she doesn't want it. She doesn't want to do it. Hillary, I don't think anybody wants Hillary to try one more time, to be the Adlai Stevenson of 1950. But
and Buttigieg would be a nightmare.
Yeah, so I think Biden, they're going to stick with Biden and lose and regroup when Pence runs.
Yeah, because Klobuchar wanted to run again in 4 years. She's young.
She probably will. Yeah, she could run again. So, yeah. So, I don't know. Everybody else is going to be too old.
That's right. Either finally retired or dead.
Right? I hate these guys. It's a pain in the butt for me to walk down the hall to the bathroom. These guys are campaigning all over the country and going everywhere. Come on. I can stand up for a debate for more than 10 seconds.
if you notice, the platforms are like 3 steps up. Okay.
Well, yeah, I
and
guess.
5 steps to the podium.
At least,
then,
yeah. I'm done. I'm done there. They'd have to, even if I was the vote getter, they'd have to put me on the end. Let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number. Calling you on the air. What's going on?
Well, I went to the Scientifique last night at the Baxter, and the scientist there said she is quite sure that chemical disruptors, endocrine disruptors, are in all kinds of things that we're using. So the question is, why have Americans lost the old sense of vigilance and have gone for sheer entertainment? If she's right, we're just flooding ourselves with toxic chemicals, dioxin, PCB, BTA, altrazine.
Yeah, I only eat the grass out of my front yard. That's it.
That he's fertilized with a dioxin.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, I figure that dial, the dandelion killer they spray on there won't hurt me.
That's right. And it has a sweet flavor to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a tricky thing, too. Just because something tastes good doesn't mean that it's good for you.
Yeah.
Because there's a whole battery of biochemists working to come up with taste enhancers. If you read some of those labels, there are 20 things in there, and some of them are just sheer taste enhancers. They don't have anything to do with preserving the food.
Yeah. Well, I want somebody to come out with broccoli that tastes like a donut. That's what I want.
Well, you're.
I mean, they got all these artificial tastes and colors and everything. What? They can't make broccoli taste like a donut? Come on. I'd be much healthier if I could eat broccoli all the time instead of donuts all the time.
Yeah.
Well, and it's a matter of choice. Right?
Yeah,
good choices, good consequences.
Yeah.
Bad choices, bad consequences. Yeah. The whole premise of your statement is the fact that people make choices, and if they're good choices or bad choices, they're responsible for their choice.
Yeah. Well, the government has some right to put out red flags.
They do. They do. The FDA does that all the time.
Yeah.
And they've required all product manufacturers to put on their product a listing of everything that's in it. I mean, that's how we found out about wood fiber and Kraft Parmesan cheese.
Yeah, and the problem there is that the FDA is like a revolving door for the industry. If somebody isn't working for the industry, they're working for the FDA, and then they go back to the industry again.
Yeah.
So we have to be vigilant of that, too.
Well, that's not really fair to say that, because the majority of the people that work for the FDA are scientists and people that analyze the food you eat.
Yeah.
And they do a pretty good job of it, because there's not a lot of disease or bad pork or bad beef being sold. So, yeah, the people in the administrative side of it might have issues that you might be concerned about. But the people going through plants and going through stores and going through, through restaurants and everything else do a heck of a job for the American people.
All right. It's not bad pork and beef, but there's dioxins in meat. They don't have to have those in there, but they would just let it ride.
Yeah. FDA says it's okay, so.
That's right. They're not really dioxins or proteins, to make the meat more lean and less fatty, which is better for you.
Right. Yeah.
Well, now we're getting into the land of opinions.
Well, now we're getting into the break at the bottom of the hour too. So
yeah.
Gotta go. Yeah. Thanks for the call, Dan. All right. We'll be back. Trust me, in spite of your cards, letters, and phone calls, Shane and I will return right after the news at the bottom of the hour. So stay tuned. We got the Rush Update on the way. We might actually get to 5 things you need to know today. Who knows? Stay tuned for that when we come back. Hang on. 24 minutes before the top of the hour, we've got a caller patiently waiting on the line. Caller, you're on the morning soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Oh, my gosh. He was at work, so he couldn't have time to even say goodbye.
What was he talking about, Shane?
Oh, we were talking about the coronavirus, how strange it was, how it's spreading.
Yeah.
And he was concerned about how the Democrats are going to deal with introducing Buttigieg, because he's going to get a speak, because he made a deal, right?
Yeah.
And whether or not he introduces his wife. That's how we're just
Well, I guess we'll find out, won't we?
Yeah, that's what I said. Well, I guess we'll find out.
I guess we'll find out. Let's see, from our text line, 5788298. Wow, big kahuna. Michael Bloomberg apparently dropped out of the Democrat race. Well, all I can say is that that was hundreds of millions of dollars well spent. God has obviously blessed some people with more money than brains. Imagine all the benevolent causes that money could have went toward. Well, it went to somebody, I guess.
He made a lot of television stations rich, and he probably can write it off.
Well, and he did what? He gave everybody laptops and apartments and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, so Bloomberg really cares about people. He's just another lying Democrat. AOC will be old enough to run against Pence after Trump wins again and is termed out. I don't know why AOC doesn't just identify as 35 and run.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's gonna question it.
That's right.
Right?
And I'm not going to show you my birth certificate.
Well, no. I mean, why should I do that? Or my tax returns?
Yeah.
You know, I didn't make enough to pay taxes. So
that's right.
There you are. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Let's see. Zombie movies were training for Corona pandemic.
That's true.
Yeah. Tulsi will go VP. I don't think so. Too small a state.
Yeah.
They need somebody from Ohio or Michigan or one of those.
Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. Yeah.
Somebody in there. Yeah.
They need their wall back.
Yeah, there you are. Warren should stay in and siphon Bernie votes. The Democrats may fund her to stay in and siphon some votes away from Bernie. That may be.
That's a fair. Yeah, that's a fair observation.
That's a good observation by our texter there. Yeah. Let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you on the morning soapbox with Tom and Shay. What's up?
Hey guys, it's Mayor.
Hi, Mayor.
Good morning, Mary.
Good morning. Say, I just got a new puppy.
All right.
And yay! But
what's his name? Tell us his name.
Oh, his name is Toast.
All right.
All right.
And it's a pug. And when I got all of his paperwork, there was a sheet that said, when you give him a parvo shot, you have to get the vaccines that don't have the coronavirus or the leptospirosis, I believe is the other one.
Ah.
So so this is coronavirus. This is not it's not spelled differently. So there's something with the dog. The dogs are highly allergic and react to the coronavirus.
Oh.
So this isn't a new virus. And
nope.
Don't the Chinese eat their dogs over there?
Yep. Yeah, they do.
Yes,
so
yes,
Vietnam too.
Korea
I would
especially.
Say the connection has something more to do with dogs than bats and snakes.
Yeah, well.
Most likely.
Because obviously there is a vaccine for dogs to vaccinate them against the coronavirus. You just can't give it to pugs and dachshunds and some other breeds because of the reaction they have to it. So it's just, it just made my mind start to wonder about this whole thing.
Yep, correctly so.
Well, there's
you got to ask the question. I mean, everyone's curious. I mean,
sure.
It's not an unreasonable question.
Not at all. Yeah.
Well, if it's in a parvo vaccine, you just buy the ones that don't have the, to protect them against the coronavirus. There obviously is a vaccine for it. It's canine, but I don't know. It just made me kind of curious about that. And a couple of things. If I have to listen to Elizabeth Warren one more time on that soundbite, I'm going to hang myself.
I didn't know we had Elizabeth Warren soundbite.
The one where she's blaming, everybody but
for the credit cards and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
The one with Mark Levin that's saying, wait a minute, that's not the truth. So can we stop playing that one and a few other ones?
Well,
I just think if you're gonna do a program of sound bites, let's freshen it up, okay?
Yeah, that's my responsibility. I need to do that because the person who's doing that is no longer with us. And but there are times when we need a 10-second fill or a 1-minute fill or something because we didn't have a commercial, or the rush show says there's so much time for commercials and we don't have one, so a fill goes in there. But we have to
let's fill
make
it with
those.
something other than her.
Okay. I will. I think we can get by without that one. So.
Well, there's a few other ones that we've been listening to, Tom. For
I know.
4 years,
Trust me. I hear them every morning when I come to work and throughout the day when I'm out. And have the radio on. So I feel your pain. I really do.
Okay. Well, I always turn the station. So.
Well, don't turn the station. Just turn it down.
Well, I don't know. I gotta have some noise in the background.
Well, okay.
Regardless, but.
Well,
and then Dave Ramsey, it's a repeat on Saturday and Sunday. It's the same
I got to
thing.
talk to him. I got to talk to him about that too. That
let's bring what was his name, Clyde Lewis, in somewhere in there.
That might be
really
be an option. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's all the maintenance that we need to do today. I'll call you if I think of anything more.
Oh, good. Yeah, absolutely. I'm making a list as we go along here. Thanks for the call.
All right. Thanks, guys.
I appreciate it. All right. We got to take a quick break and let me think about these sound bites. We'll be right. 13 minutes before the top of the hour, we've got a caller waiting on the line. Let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Morning, Tom and Shane. Is Paul.
Hi, Paul.
I just went under the Valley Center overpass. There's an accident on the east side of that on I-90.
Oh, okay.
Where a car plowed into, I think, another one. They've got the eastbound lane down to one lane, so there's traffic piled up behind it.
Wow. Okay.
So I thought people ought to know that.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for the heads up. Yeah. So.
You bet.
All right. Appreciate it. All right. Thanks for the call, Paul. Appreciate it. All right. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Well, good morning, Tom and Shane.
Hey, you're not in the accident, are you?
No, okay. I'm not in the accident.
Good.
In fact, I don't know that I've ever had an accident.
Oh, well. Your parents did, obviously.
Don't cause one now.
Well, I'll do my best. I'm firmly believe that information should get around.
Yeah.
But if they're talking about, you guys were talking about it earlier, the basketball games and all of this, and they're going to play before no crowds.
Yeah.
How much longer is it going to be before they clamp down on domestic air travel?
Oh, yeah. You won't be able to fly to any major city after.
No, but the airlines have, because people just aren't going. They're canceling conventions and people are canceling trips. It's just it's a natural thing. People are reacting to it already.
Yeah.
Well, that's the private sector doing it. That's not like a government mandate.
No, I'm just saying it's already happening without the government doing it. I'm just.
Well, we'll see how far it goes.
Yeah.
And the CDC has decided they're not going to divulge the numbers of people who have been tested.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why you would do that.
Mm-hmm.
If there's good news out there, you think that it'd be.
Well, I think the reason they don't want to say that is that people have a concept of numbers. For some people, the test would be too small. They're gonna react negatively to why aren't you testing more people if you're.
Well, I really believe that they have to have concerns that there's maybe some terrorist, action involved in this, and the minute that topic starts coming up and they're starting to have because like I said, I think 2 days ago, right, Tom? I said to you, where's your intelligence agencies on this been, right?
Yeah.
Like
they're trying to impeach Trump.
Yeah, well,
that's what I mean. Though. Once again, they totally dropped the ball on your country.
Yeah.
Right. And this could be, let's face it, this could be war.
Could be.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if it were to turn out this was a terrorist act, God forbid, that's war, right?
Pretty much,
what was fentanyl? What was fentanyl, and where did it come from?
Yeah,
I agree with you on that too. I think that's the same thing. You know, I think that when you look at the numbers of people that have died from fentanyl, and 90% of it comes from China, there's something seriously wrong here, folks.
Yep, I'd agree.
Yeah. There's definitely something seriously wrong here. And let's face it, it's another thing out there. The Chinese don't care about losing 1 million people or 2 million people.
No.
They don't care.
No.
You know, they lose 1 million to pneumonia every year.
Yeah.
So they don't care about losing people. It's all part of the game. So
well, and you know, the social media in China, you know, what's it called again, Tom? Not
the Politburo.
Not the Twitter. What's the Chinese version of Twitter?
Oh, the TikTok.
Thank you. On TikTok, you know, they're talking like if you go and look at it, all they're talking about is being forced back to work by the government.
Yeah.
Right. And there's another story out there concerning that. They're saying that they just fired up everything in the factories just to make it look like people are there working.
Yeah.
But they're not. But the good thing is that smog and all that crap in China is just about gone to nothing.
Yeah. Well, global warming is on its way here. Climate change. We're done.
You got to go to YouTube and look at the video of Beijing.
Beijing. Yeah.
There's no, like you said, there's no smog. It's incredible. Hasn't been that clear in 50 years.
Blue sky. I gotta go, Pete. I'm sorry. I gotta get the Rush updated here, but hey, thanks for the call.
You bet.
All right, man. Thanks much. Here's Rush. We'll be right back. 3 minutes before the top of the hour, and boy, Shane, text lines are going crazy.
That's good.
I don't know if I'm going to have time to read any of them because we've only got about 1.5 minutes left. So, but anyway, it's been quite a morning. Bloomberg dropped out, and Bernie got 4 states, and Biden got what, 9?
8.
I think 8. Yeah, 9. He got 9, and Bernie got 4. Yeah. Biden got 9 wins. Bernie got 4, and Warren came in 3rd in her own state. So is she gonna stay in and siphon? DMC gonna promote her and keep her in to siphon votes away from Bernie? Do you think? Because they're both wackos.
It's a fabulous thing to watch, is it?
It really is. This is a great time to be on the radio. This is better than 2016 even.
Ideas. We've been talking about it for 6 months. How exciting it's going to be, and it's getting better every day.
It's finally here. Yeah. Well, we've got another primary coming up next Tuesday with about 4 or 5 states. There'll be some big numbers there. And then we're going to have a debate, I believe, on the 15th, Sunday night. Once again, I'll be screwed.
It's either going to be 2 or 3, right?
Well, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Kelsey's not going to be there, I don't think. So I don't
either be Biden and Uncle Bernie, or Warren, Biden, and Uncle Bernie.
I was going to say there'll probably be 3 of them, I guess, unless her money dries up. If the DNC says, "Hey, you got to stay in and take money away from, or take votes away from Bernie, and we'll keep you in the race," and that's not unreasonable for the DNC to think about.
That's right. Well, the market's back.
Yep.
I don't know what's going to happen overnight, but we're excited to talk about it with everyone tomorrow, Mayor. You have a great morning, great afternoon. Be happy, be safe, everyone. Live in the moment, live to work, and God bless the people of the Gallatin Valley.
There you go. All right. Thanks, Shane, for being here. Thanks to Jon Knockey, the Tim Fox's running mate, for being here. And thanks for all the listeners and texters. Sorry if I didn't get to your text this morning, but we only have so much time to do all these things. So, hey, we appreciate you guys out there very much, obviously. So, hey, don't forget, we're brought to you by the Club Tavern and Grill. They're voted best happy hour. And they have happy hour specials every day of the week. And they serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They got a kid-friendly menu too. So if If you need to place an order or make a reservation, go to online to theclubtavernandgrill.com, theclubtavernandgrill.com. They're the Best Western across from Walmart. We'll see you tomorrow, 6 a.m.